Can you share your thoughts of which technologies are high in demand? What type of trend you are seeing in the IT industry right now?
A lot of the research which we do and a lot of the decisions which we take are driven also by the trends which we observe, but also the scenario creation which we do. So as an organization, we do spend a lot of our resources in trying to identify what will be the competence requirements for the organizations over the next decade or even longer. And that's what drives our product development process. So to give you certain specific answers, there are a couple of areas which we see are most exciting in terms of how things are happening. One of them is cloud computing. There has been enough said that cloud has the potential of reducing the costs of technology, changing fundamentally how IT organizations, but also businesses are structured, how they are able to go to market quicker, more effectively, how products can be developed and launched much more effectively, much more quicker. So all of this, and at a significantly lower cost, right? I mean, the cost elements are also critical part of making this a huge possible trend. So clearly cloud has been talked about, and I think we are still at the very beginning of this promise, which the whole integration of all the trends and technologies will be able to deliver. And we will continue to see that evolving over the next decade or so. I think big data is to a large extent similar. Big data has been around for a long time. It is not new, but I think the combination of emergence also of cloud has also made the possibilities with big data much more significant, much more massive in terms of what you're able to achieve with that. And and I think that's definitely one of the trends which we are seeing. Organizations are starting to see the power and the benefits which they can derive for themselves, but also their customers, by being able to leverage the power of big data, particularly big data in cloud, much more effectively. Some of the other trends which we are also observing, one of the trends is the business becoming much more technology savvy and technology enabled, and emergence of cloud also has a lot to do, and we see that business managers making decisions around buying technologies themselves instead of relying on their IT departments and organizations to make those decisions on their behalf. So they are feeling much more enabled. But what that is also doing is that architecture of how information flows and where information is used and can be effectively used within the organization is also starting to become much more relevant. So the whole concept of enterprise architecture is starting to become more and more useful for organizations as they start to develop a better understanding. They do more mapping of how all of these things can be structured, information can be better organized to be made available to the right areas of business. And another trend which we are seeing is around need for better digital security. So whole area of cyber crime, cyber security is also an area which is becoming, well, it is already critically important. We've seen so many examples of it, but this is going to become just more and more and more and more important over the next decades. I think there is still need to develop new standards which governments can effectively leverage, but which all organizations, whether they are technology organizations responsible for creating platforms or softwares, but also banks, other organizations can also effectively leverage to prevent scenarios of massive problems getting created because of cybercrime, so that we can create proper standards, proper detriments also around these areas. So that's another major area where we hope we are doing a lot of work, and we recognize that that's an area which will continue to become more and more important as the whole world relies on technology.